guys, it's Sierra with Sierra's Crafty Creations, and today we're creating this super cute fall candy corn inspired headband. This is what it looks on the back. It is super textured, so easy to make. You only need to know how to do the single crochet. That is it. And I will take you through each step, and this is one of the easiest headband patterns that I've come up with, and it has some color changes, which don't let that scare you away, guys. This one's super simple. I show you how to do this fun twisted closure, but I also go over how to do just a regular closure so it will look like this front and back. So I give both of those options at the end. So let's go ahead and jump into the materials that you're going to need to make for your very own candy corn headband. I'm going to be using Hobby Lobby's I Love This yarn. This is a size 4 worsted weight yarn. I'm going to be using the color Burnt Pumpkin for my orange, Antique White for my white, and Sun Gold for my yellow. This is just for the candy corn version that you'll need these 3 colors. You can use any 3 colors that you want. You can make it in 1 color, 2 colors, whatever your preference is. So just make sure you're using a size 4 worsted weight yarn. You're going to need a size 6mm J crochet hook, a yarn needle, a pair of scissors, and a measuring tape. All right, to do the candy corn style, you're going to start with yellow, then move on to orange, and then finish with white. So you're going to want to grab your hook, your yellow yarn, and we'll go ahead and get started. To start, we're going to create a slip knot, and the easiest way I found to create a slip knot is to drape your yarn over your index finger, wrap it around loosely twice, and then you're going to grab this back loop, pull it over that front loop, and now we're going to grab this back loop and pull it over the front loop and off our finger, and that's going to create a slip knot. You're going to insert your hook, and now we're going to create our chain. This headband is going to fit an adult size head anywhere between 22 to 24 inches in circumference. So we're going to chain 61, and to chain, you are going to wrap the yarn around your hook, pull through the loop on your hook. That's 1 chain. Wrap the yarn around your hook, pull through the loop. That's 2. Wrap it around your hook, pull through the loop. That's 3. So you're going to keep creating these chains until you have a total of 61. This is where your measuring tape will come in handy. You can measure from the top to the bottom. And you want your chain to be around 17.5 to 18 inches long, not stretched. So it's just laying flat, and you can measure from point to point. All right, we are going to start row 1, and we're going to be creating single crochets. We're going to skip this very first chain here next to our hook. We're going to insert our hook into the second chain, grab our yarn from the back, pull through that chain, and you'll have 2 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over and pull through both of those loops, and that is a single crochet. We're going to insert a hook into the very next chain right here. Insert your hook, grab your yarn from the back, pull through the chain. You'll have those 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through both loops. All right, and that's a single crochet stitch. So insert into the next chain, grab your yarn, pull through, yarn over, pull through both loops. And you'll keep doing that with every chain across. And because we skipped that first one, we'll have a total of 60 single crochets. All right, and once you get to the end, we are going to start row 2. And to do that, you're going to grab your yarn, create a chain 1. So grab your yarn, pull through the loop on your hook. That's a chain 1. And then you're going to turn your work. And now we're going to be creating single crochets, but this time we're going to put them in the back loop only. And I will show you how to do that. So what you're going to do, we're going to work in this very first one. So normally we would go through here, and you'll have a loop here and a loop here. So this loop is your front loop, and this loop is your back loop. So you're going to insert your hook just in that back loop only, grab your yarn, pull through that back loop, grab your yarn, and pull over both loops on your hook. So we're still doing the single crochet, we're just placing it in a different spot. And I'll do a few more with you guys. So again, this is where we normally would insert. So right here we would go through under both those loops, but we're just going to want to go this back loop. So you can pull it up a little bit, whatever makes it easier for you to see, going through just that back loop. So you'll just have 1 loop, grab your yarn, pull through that loop, yarn over, pull through both loops on your hook. All right, and you're going to do that with every stitch, just doing the back loop, grabbing your yarn, pull up, yarn over, pull through both. All right, and doing this in the back loop is going to create that fun ridge texture. So we want to make sure that we're just going in the back loop only for every stitch across, and you'll have 60 single crochets. All right, and once we make our last single crochet going in the back loop only, and it is always best to count your stitches to make sure that you have 60, because sometimes that last stitch can be hard and sometimes people miss it, so make sure that you're counting your stitches as you go as well. So now we're going to go to row 3. So you're going to chain 1, yarn over your hook, pull through that loop, create a chain 1, turn your work. So from here on out, we're just going to keep repeating that row 2. So we're going to be single crocheting in the back loop only for the rest of our headband, but we are going to do color changes. So we'll do row 3 just like we did row 2. So going in this very first stitch here, instead of going through the stitch as normal, you can just grab that back loop, grab your yarn, pull through the back loop, yarn over, pull through both. So grabbing the back loop, creating your single crochets in every stitch across. All right, and like again, you'll have 60 single crochets total. Just make sure you're going through that back loop only. Right, so that's row 3. Chain 1, yarn over, pull through that loop, turn your work. And now we're going to repeat this 2 more times. So for row 4 and 5, we're going to do single crochet in the back loop only with our yellow, and then I will meet you at the end of row 5. So we are going to switch to our orange. So do 2 more rows of this, row 4 and 5, single crocheting in the back loop only, all the way across for a total of 60 single crochets. And I'll meet you back at the end of row 5. All right, once we come to the very last stitch in row 5, we're going to want to change our color to our orange yarn. And how I like to do that is when I'm doing my last stitch, so I'm going to go in like I'm doing my last stitch as normal, back loop, grab my yarn, pull up, and when I have these 2 loops on my hook, I'm going to leave them on my hook, and I'm going to leave about 6 to 8 inches of yarn. I'm going to take my scissors, cut my yarn. So now we're done with our yellow yarn. Take your orange yarn, create a loop like this, leaving a good size tail. Take this, slip it onto your hook, and use this orange yarn to pull through both of those loops to finish that stitch. And now we're going to take our orange yarn, our working yarn, not this little tail, make sure it's the yarn still attached to your ball, and then we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. You can take these 2 little tails and you can tie them to secure them. You don't want to pull them too tight, but just tight enough. And I like to do a double knot with mine, just like that. Now my new color is added and my ends are secured together, so my new color will not come out. So we have our 5 rows of yellow, and we're going to do 5 rows of orange, doing this single crochet in the back loop only. So that very first stitch, back loop only, create your single crochet, back loop only, single crochet. You're going to do that for a total of 5 rows. Make sure that you chain 1 and turn after each row. And then I will meet you back so we can attach our white yarn. And just like we did to attach our orange yarn, we are going to, on our very last stitch of our 5th row, go through the back loop as normal, grab your orange yarn, pull up, leave these 2 loops on your hook, and leave about 6 to 8 inches of yarn, cut it off, and now we're going to attach our white yarn. So grab your white yarn, make the loop, add it onto your hook, pull it through the 2 orange loops left on your hook, using the working white yarn, not the tail, so you can move those tails up, chain 1 with the white yarn, and turn your work. And just like last time, I like to use my yarn tails to secure the ends, but not making them too tight. And then create our single crochets in the back loop only for 5 rows with the white, and then we will be finished with our rows, and we will move on to closing up our headband. There's 2 different closures that we can do, and I'll show them both to you in the next part of the video. So go ahead and do 5 rows of single crochet in the back loop only with your white yarn. All right, and this is what your headband's gonna look like when she's all finished up. So pretty, all the candy corn and fall vibes, and I love the texture that the single crochet in the back loop creates. I was just gonna show you how wide or tall that my headband is. It's about 3.5, almost 4 inches in height. This is where you're gonna wanna grab your yarn needle, and you're going to take your headband, fold it in half so the 2 short ends are lined up with each other. And I like to take the yarn tail, that's why we leave about 6 to 8 inches of yarn. You're gonna take your yarn tail, I'm gonna start with the white, thread it through your yarn needle, and we're going to make sure that the stitches are lined up, going on the very edge stitch here through the first side and lining up to the stitch in the back side, pulling it through, going into the next stitch on the front side and the back side, going through. This is just a whip stitch to seam them together, and you're going to do that stitch for stitch all the way across the white section, and then we're going to pull that tail off of our needle and just pull this to the side. So we have 2 white tails here, we'll pull that to the side, and then we're going to grab our orange tail, thread that through our needle, and do the same thing, lining up stitch for stitch, going through both the front and the back. And then once you get to the end, take that off your needle, leave your orange tails over to the side, and do it again with your yellow. And you can knot these 2 together and weave in your excess into your headband, or I like to turn mine right side out so the seam is hidden a little better, but that's what the back is going to look like. And this is what the front of your finished headband is going to look like. So super simple, classic little headband, adding these 3 different colors to make it look like candy corn and just give all the beautiful fall vibes. So that is our simple headband, and now let's go ahead and do the twist closure if you want it to be a little extra special. To do the twisted look, we're going to want to weave in all of our loose ends and the other colors, and our seam is not going to be seen, so we can just use our long piece of white or whatever your longest tail is, as long as it's on the edge. And the other shorter tails, you're going to want to grab your yarn needle and weave them in and secure them before we do our twist. And sadly, my filming was way off center and I was not able to fully show how to do the twisted with the candy corn, but I did do this twist in another headband tutorial, and I'm going to insert the clips here with the instructions because it's going to be the same information, but it is going to be a different looking headband than the one that we just did a tutorial for. But I wanted to make sure that you guys could see how to do the twisted closure fully on camera, and sadly I was not able to refilm it with the candy corn headband. So go ahead and watch this clip to learn how to do the twisted headband closure. We have both of our short ends here, and we're going to fold these in half like this. And you're going to take this one and fold this one in half as well. You have them like this, and you're going to put this one inside of this one, and you're going to wrap this on the outside so they're sandwiched together like this. We'll show you again. So we have them folded like this. We're going to take our right side and insert it into the little opening that we have on our left side, and this is going to wrap around like this. So this is what it's going to look like. And you're going to take your needle and you're going to insert it here, through here, and we're going to make some room and make sure that we pick up this corner and go all the way through. And then we're going to come in from the next stitch on this side And again, we're gonna go through 1, 2, 3, 4, all 4, and pull through. And we're just gonna keep going back and forth, going through all 4 pieces. And this is gonna join them together. So just keep going back and forth. And this is gonna be our last one. And then make sure that we go through all of them. And then we're going to tie a knot. And what I like to do is weave in my ends here. So I will go just like so, and then pull it through, and then I can cut this. All right, so you're like, what in the world, Sierra? This looks horrible. Now the magic happens. We're gonna take our headband and flip it, and our twist looks like this. How beautiful. I absolutely love this fun little twist. I love doing this to all my headbands, and it just makes the candy corn even more fun. So that is the twisted closure. I actually love them both. Let me know which closure is your favorite and which one you decide to do for your headbands. But that is it for this tutorial today, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to grab the free pattern for this, you can find it on my website. I will link that down below for you. But if you like today's tutorial, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so you can see all of my future crochet and knit tutorials. I'll catch you on the next one. Bye!